Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
So I have a hand from online, but I think it mimics like some live tendencies and live player tendencies. I've been playing back on Ignition recently, and this was played Saturday night in the 1-2 zone pool, where the games have been pretty soft recently, especially because they had a big tournament series yesterday, Sunday, so the day before this
So,
hand was played, or the day after this hand was played.
okay, so you told me that you were going to call in before, so I'm hoping that you have a question about maybe how this relates to live play, this situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, shoot.
Okay. So the hand starts with an under the gun open to $6, and in the small blind I have two black kings, and I make it 24, and the big blind makes it 60, and it folds around to me, and I decide to call.
Hero with King King, and you make it 24.
Yep.
And then the button makes it what? 64?
Or I'm in the small blind. The big blind makes it 60,
Oh, the big blind. Okay, so
and
king.
we're also $575 effective, so pretty deep.
Okay, cool. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I didn't think I don't want to get in all this money for
So,
with kings. I mean, I think it's going to mostly be aces lot, so I decided to call.
so you're 565
And the
effective,
flop
right?
come,
565 effective,
yeah,
about? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So the flop comes king 8-3 rainbow.
King 8-3
Um,
rainbow. So you've got top set.
yeah.
Okay.
So I check, and the villain checks back.
Interesting. So check and a check. And the pot's about, whatever, like 130 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's around there.
Yep.
So the
Okay.
turn is the ten of spades.
Puts a backdoor spade draw.
Yep.
Okay, so two spades. You've got black kings, flop top set, check, check. This is a four bet pot. Okay, go ahead.
So I bet 80, and the villain raises to 160. So min raised.
So hero bets 80 and V1 raises to 160. Yes, this is definitely, I can see where you're going here with this Pete, like as a kind of a live spot, right? Like what does this mean exactly, right?
Yeah.
Um, what were you considering here in terms of like online play? Like, what do you think that this raise represents?
Well, it's a little bit weird because, if I don't think of like a good online player would do this very often,
Yeah,
but instinctually I thought it was like it's hard for villain to be like to have a very strong hand here. I guess he could have a set of tens, but aside from that, I thought it was maybe aces or ace king trying to take control of the hand, or maybe like trying to buy a cheap showdown or something like that. Check back the flop. I was worried about kings. I wasn't exactly sure though, to be honest. It could be a hand like ace queen suited that turned backdoor spades.
yeah. I mean, I think I was thinking the same thing. In terms of what I would probably do here, I mean, obviously 1-2 on ignition or any type of online poker. I even back in the day, I usually said that online was like the equivalent to 10 times what the live stakes were. Might not be quite that much nowadays. Like most people who play 10, I mean, just because there's not so much 10-20 live, and there's a lot of good players now at 10-20 live. Like I would take a 10-20 live winner over a 1-2 ignition reg. You know what I mean? But back,
Yeah, and ignition's also much softer than the average online site, I would say.
yeah, I mean,
So
what I would say here is, and I'm assuming that you're looking for my opinion from maybe versus like a weaker 5-10 reg or in like live play. Like I know you're coming to LA for a few months and you might start playing the 5-5. I think it would be, you probably know what I'm going to say, but I think that it overall over the long term, when I see a line like this, I think I'm going to win more money by just coming in three betting turn here more than trying to play it tricky and calling, because I think what's going to end up happening is that you're right. The guy's trying to buy a showdown. You're going to check the river sometimes, he's going to either bet or check back, and you're going to check raise, and it's going to be very difficult for him to call with one pair. I think this just kind of goes back to, a theory that I sort of started way back in the day, which it doesn't hold true all the time. And it's kind of like the aggressive action theory, but especially in a three bet pot where when the villain raises post flop here, he's just never gonna fold. Now that's not always the case. It used to really be the case always back in the day. But I feel like, especially with these stack sizes, you can just do a dumb click back. You know what I'm saying? Like you bet 80, he makes it 160. You could make it like 250 and you set yourself up for like a nice shove or even maybe 300 because you guys are pretty deep. But there's just I can't imagine that a guy is really ever raising the turn here to fold. And it gets back to my feeling of it's just criminal to like call and then have it go check check. Or something happens where another spade falls off and it goes check check. And the thing is that if he's got like a hand like jacks or queens, you're not really getting any more money anyways. Now, another line, which is really kind of unique to live, Pete, would be to call and then lead the river, too. I don't know if you consider doing that. It seems like,
That's actually what I ended up doing. I
okay,
called and I shoved river.
so you make the call. So hero bets 80, villain raises to 160, and you call. Let me ask you, what were you planning on doing on a spade river? What was the river, by
I
the way?
wasn't the river was an offsuit deuce.
Okay, so it
It
didn't
was a
matter.
total
Yeah.
bet.
hmm
Yeah.
So what were you planning on
Um
doing on a spade river?
I wasn't exactly sure. I was gonna have to kind of figure it out as I got there. Because ignition, I don't know if you know, but it's only you only get 15 seconds stacked with no time bank. So I didn't
Uh-huh.
have a ton of time to think. I think I would probably check, and then if villain shoved, it would be pretty gross. I don't think I can fold though. I probably wouldn't lead out and shove though, because I do think you might get more of those ace king aces to fold. I could maybe like bet small, like bet 100, 125. And if I get shoved on, then find a fold. But
I think that your line of calling and then leading the river is certainly much, much better than calling and checking the river. How about that? I would personally usually three bet the turn small and then bet the river. But I feel like sometimes if you call and then bet the river, you occasionally get hero looked up by a hand that's trying to like take a showdown, like a hand like queens thinking, oh, you missed a draw or something like that. You know what I mean? But in general, especially at a $5 blind game, in a three bet pot or in a four bet pot, when you bet turn and he raises, he's just never folding. And I don't think that in a live game that you're going to see queens ever really make a raise here on the turn. So this turn raise in a live game is almost always going to represent a set of tens, like you said, like ace king that's going to get a showdown, and none of those hands are ever really folding. So I think that the in general the better play is just to click back and bet. I don't mind calling and betting, but I certainly don't like calling and checking. So what ended up happening?
it ended up not mattering too much because villain had a very weird hand. So I shoved river for like 100 there, 350,
Yeah.
and he snapped with a set of threes.
So he
So he
flopped a set
called
of
for it.
threes. Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that again though, I mean, you're probably not going to see this much in live play though, too, right? Like a live player isn't going to check back ace king to raise the turn really all that much. I mean, excuse me, an online player that's sound fundamental isn't going to be checking back that flop to raise the turn with ace king. I just don't. I think that's kind of a fishy line. A live player might do that, but he's never folding though. Because again, like when you start to see these $5 blind games, it's very rare to see a guy raise fold for value, especially in a bloated pot like this. So I'm assuming your question was whether to click back or just call.
Yeah, I mean, I actually in the moment I didn't think about the click back too much. I guess I was thinking more shove or call, but now that you say it, like the click back does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just don't want
I
anybody
guess I
making some sort of hero fold here with
yeah,
with
and that's
some
why I
crazy
decided to
hand.
call. I just
Yeah,
didn't really think about the click back, so yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
And I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not all that concerned about backdoor spades in a live game either. Depending, I don't, was the king a spade? Do you remember? It was king 8-3. Well, you're going to be putting this hand up, so you would know. But
Well, I had black kings, so
oh, excuse me.
I
Yeah,
have king
yeah.
spade.
So the king wasn't a spade. But what I was going to say is that I mean, the guy would really have to like be four betting ace queen suited or ace jack suited to like check back the flop. And I just think that if a guy four bets with those hands, if somebody's gonna four bet that hand in a live play at a $5 blind game, they're not either A, bad enough or sophisticated enough to check back the flop as like a delayed C bet. I think they're gonna bet. Because when you see a live player four bet a hand like ace queen suited in this spot out of the blind, he's going to tend to be more aggro fishy, I would say. And I,
Hmm.
you might occasionally run into a guy that's really good, but a more aggro fishy guy is just not going to be able to check back that flop as a delayed C bet when they've chosen to four bet pre with that hand. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
that
be
makes
overly
sense.
concerned with spades. Thanks for the call, Pete.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Bart.
All right, cool. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.